If someone treated you the way that you treat your body, what would that relationship look like? Is it one that you would enjoy? Genuine question too, not assuming anything, not looking to bring about a shame spiral, but genuine question. That question is the one that completely revolutionized how I relate to myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Dr. Katie. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk about how important it is to recognize the relationship that you have with your body and yourself, and to start to work towards something that maybe is a little more sustainable if you stand back and look and, like I did once upon a time, go, ooh, maybe I need to take a closer look at this. Before we continue, if you're not already a subscriber, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you don't miss out on awesome conversations just like this one. So, story time. Early on in my healing journey, I was, watching a podcast. I don't remember which one at this point, but the host of the podcast was sharing a realization that they'd had that there's only one person in this entire life that we spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with, and that's ourselves. And that really landed for me. You know, at the time I had a lot of negative self-talk. I did not have a very high opinion of myself. I did not have a lot of self-confidence or self-love or self-compassion. And it suddenly occurred to me, at the time I was struggling with pretty deep depression, and I realized, man, if the person that you spend all of your time with is constantly putting you down and belittling you and telling you you're not going to succeed, God, no wonder I feel like crap, right? It makes so much sense when you put it that way. And if I were around a different person who was treating me the way that I was treating myself, I would walk away. I would not stay in that relationship. I would not stay in that friendship. But it's so easy to let that slide by when it's happening in our own minds, where others can't necessarily see or hear it. Around the time that I was listening to this podcast, I had also come to a point in my life where I actually got to pause. I had left a full-time outpatient physical therapy job. I was starting my own business. I was exploring what worked for me in my life and what didn't. And in that slowdown, all of the signals from my body that I had been ignoring for years came rushing on so intensely. I felt like I got hit by a Mack truck of suckiness. And it was so confusing to me at the time because I felt like I went from fine to struggling overnight. And so I sought help, I sought support, I went to therapy, I talked to friends about it. And as I started to reflect more and more, I started to realize that really I hadn't been fine for a very long time. Since I was in high school, I had been a high achiever. I had very high expectations for myself. I was a people pleaser, all of those things that so many of us struggle with. And I had developed these very deeply ingrained habits of ignoring my body's signals. Now, there's a multitude of reasons why I developed those, some of which I'm still discovering to this day. But the fact was, for years, I had been ignoring my body pretty blatantly. Now, I didn't really mean to ignore my body's signals. It seemed harmless at the time, right? Picking up extra hours, making some overtime, just constantly being on the go, numbing out to my phone or TV when I was not at work, ignoring aches and pains. I actually used to have a joke that my body was like the mechanic's car, the last thing that got worked on. I cringe a little bit now looking back, but I genuinely thought that was funny at the time. And, you know, I was young, so I got away with it. As I started to get older, my body got a little bit less forgiving. And maybe it wasn't even me getting older. Maybe it was just a cumulative stress, right? Because that adds up. I started to realize that the reason that I was burned out wasn't because my body was letting me down or because my body couldn't handle a normal thing. It was because I had spent years and years viewing my needs and my body's needs as an imposition, as an obstacle, and avoiding looking at them and avoiding addressing them. And so as a result, I experienced burnout, and I experienced depression and anxiety and panic attacks and back pain and migraines and all of the things that I've talked about in previous videos. So when I came across this podcast in the midst of this incredibly challenging time, and I realized how badly that I had been treating myself up to now and how badly I was continuing to treat myself, it was a real wake-up call. And I really started to examine the way that I spoke to myself, the way that I viewed rest, the way that I viewed exercise, the pressures I put on myself to do things a certain way or to fit into a certain box that maybe didn't work as well for me as it might work for somebody else. And things started to shift. Not quickly, it took a while. You know, my body didn't trust me at first, and I didn't trust it. Like any relationship, there had been a rupture in trust on both sides. We both felt like we'd abandoned each other. You know, and I often fall into this habit of speaking about my body like it's another person because it helps me to find compassion for my body and for myself. And so I started to view this as a genuine relationship between two beings. And like any relationship, it took time to rebuild that trust, time and consistency and a lot of curiosity and compassion. But slowly over time, that trust rebuilt. And today I am more connected with myself and my body than I have ever been in my life. And it is the best shift that I have ever made. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but colors seem brighter and music sounds more beautiful, and I love more deeply. And yeah, there's discomfort that comes with it too. I'm not gonna lie and say that every day being connected with my body is peachy keen. It's not. There's still some days when I feel disconnected, times when I wish I wasn't as connected with myself as I am. But ultimately, weathering those challenging times is so worth the incredible ways that it has improved my life. It's made me more connected with my wants and needs. It's helped me to build a life that fits me. It's helped me to build deeper relationships with people that I love and care about. And all of those things I would not trade for the world. And so if you're struggling with your relationship with yourself, sorry, I have a little buggy friend, look. These are the things that I get to enjoy now that I have a closer relationship with my body, which I don't know if you guys are bug people, but I don't know. I find them kind of cool. But anyway, if you're somebody who's struggling with your own relationship with yourself and you want to start to discover how to shift that, tune into my next video because we're gonna get into it. And let me know down in the comments what your experience with this has been. Let me know what you struggle with, what you have struggled with in the past, and how you've overcome it. And yeah, I love hearing your stories, so please share down below. And thank you for tuning in today. Make sure that you subscribe, and I'll put a link down below to join my email list as well. And yeah, look forward to having more and more conversations with you about these wonderful things and making more buggy friends while I record. Ooh. Well then, he doesn't want to be friends. Have a great day, guys. Bye for now.